Hello, everyone. This is Senior Biotech Analyst John Vandermosten. Welcome to our channel that educates the life sciences investor on exciting advancements in drugs, biologics, and devices. For more content and news like this, subscribe to our channel below and like or share with others. Hypertension has been a focus of Lexaria Biosciences for several years. The company has conducted 4 human studies and a number of other animal studies so far, and is planning more work in 2024. This employs DehydraTECH CBD, and it delivers to the bloodstream to see if the drug can have an impact on hypertension and also to evaluate the safety profile. We've got John Docherty, Lexaria Biosciences president, here to tell us more about it. John, please tell us about each of the studies that were done and each of the objectives for them.
Yeah, sure thing. So from 2021 through 2023, we completed a series of investigator-initiated clinical studies in patients with stage 1 or stage 2 hypertension. The studies were named Hyper H21 1, 2, 3, and 4, as you said, 4. They were designed to allow us to study DehydraTECH CBD in roughly 134 patients, and they evaluated safety and efficacy of DehydraTECH CBD in both acute and chronic dosing designs. The main efficacy endpoints were to evaluate reduction in blood pressure in the test subjects. And of note, published research has shown that a reduction in systolic blood pressure of only 4.6 millimeters of mercury is considered clinically significant at reducing cardiovascular disease risk, and our studies exceeded that level of performance. Another key thing about those studies that were conducted was that they were designed to see if DehydraTECH CBD brings forth any type of unique mode of action relative to available antihypertensives on the market today. And we were very excited that we showed some unique effects on different biomarkers that showed a unique mode of action potentially relative to the available antihypertensive marketplace.
Yeah, and that's really important. I think, there are a number of hypertension drugs out there, but I think we've seen in a lot of studies that they're not always effective when you need complementary agents to work together. I didn't want to forget about the big news that we have is that the company received clearance from the FDA for its IND, and that you're going to be planning a phase 1B study coming up here in the near term. Why don't you tell us about that and what we should expect to see next in the hypertension studies?
Yes, well, that was very exciting news and pleasing news for us today that we announced the FDA clearance of our phase 1B hypertension clinical trial, Hyper H23-1. That trial is going to be quite a significant undertaking over a 4-week treatment span, evaluating a range of different doses of DehydraTECH CBD and looking at its ability to control blood pressure, as well as looking at other facets of its delivery into the body and other biomarkers that will be examined in the subjects. We're really excited to get that study hopefully underway sometime this year, subject to a number of conditions, and really build upon our already impressive database of safety and efficacy in hypertension presented to the FDA.
So when you finish this phase 1B, how many humans will have been received the DehydraTECH CBD for hypertension? Does it bring the total to? What does it bring total to?
Yeah, so far, obviously, we've announced that we've dosed 134 subjects roughly with DehydraTECH CBD and hypertension. The way study Hyper H23-1 is designed, we could add upwards of an additional 120 patients with stage 1 or 2 hypertension being treated under that design. So yeah, we'll be up to around 250 having been exposed to DehydraTECH CBD based on the design as approved.
Okay, well, that's enough to get the attention of some big players in the space. Chris, I had something for you too. We've seen some M&A in the space. Last October, Novo Nordisk agreed to buy the hypertension drug ocedurenone from KBP Biosciences, and then there was another hypertension deal between AstraZeneca and Cencor, which IPO'd and then a few months later was bought out. What do you think this means for for the space and for Lexaria as you work on hypertension products?
Well, hypertension is an interesting area of investigation because obviously it's an area that's been worked on for decades already. And we all know there's any number of different classes of hypertension drugs. But both the FDA and industry has been looking for new novel mechanisms of action, new ways to treat hypertension. In particular, something that is highly sought after is so-called additive performance,
Mm-hmm.
i.e., if you're
Complementary,
already on a
yeah.
beta blocker and you started a new hypertension regimen in addition to that beta blocker, do you get additional hypertension relief, or is it kind of absorbed into the gains from the initial drug? So one of the things that we've been delighted about so far, although it is early days, with the DehydraTECH CBD is that it has seemed to have had somewhat of an additive effect. So for our kind of strategic corporate plans, one of the things that we are keenly aware of is that we almost certainly need the data from the conclusion of the phase 1B trial that was just approved by or cleared by FDA. And so we need to get this study completed so that we have the ability to generate that data. That data, we hope, might be sufficient to be able to enter those sorts of discussions with the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah, exactly. And that trial, that phase 1B trial, do you anticipate it will take less than a year to complete it? Or what do you think the
I
timeline
think it'll
might
take
be?
a little over a year,
Okay.
more than likely. So it's a lot for us because we're quite nimble. Everybody knows that we move quite fast. For us, it's a longer term project. For the pharmaceutical industry, a year or 18 months is a blink of an eye.
Okay, great. Well, Chris, John, thank you so much for joining me today and talking about the company's hypertension program and your recently cleared IND.